Okay, guys. First, I really want to apologize to these amazing ladies that I met and anybody else I may have met in Banff the other night. um, I ended up on one of my gypsy journeys, so I didn't get around to recording the video yet, but I'm gonna do that right now. But before I get into it, actually, um, I was watching another YouTube channel last night, um, Canadian Prepper, and I took some notes as he was going because it really inspired me, and it's just like everything that's going on right now, in the world. Like I'm not exactly sure because it's like moment to moment, everything's changing, right? But what we got to remember, and a bigger reason like why I wanted to do this video, is just to remind us all, like, we got to remember we're co-creators, okay? So, each of us as individuals has the choice to feed into whatever um, co-created reality that we want to see, okay? And like that's the essence of co-creation and learning to work together, like different soul tribes, and like, we'll have fragments that break off like on a soul level. This is kind of what I've been putting together, making sense of for a long time. So ultimately anything that you ever crosses your path, like that's where we have that freedom of choice and our free will to feed into whatever we want to, because we're going to encounter different people, different tribes all the time, and we're all ultimately learning to work together in harmony, evolution. And like here in this place, the power of our co-creation is so phenomenal, and we forget, and we all like, you know, I know we all battle that on such an extreme scale because, it's the great conditioning. And right now we're kind of in a phase like we're really learning to recondition ourselves, like to create on a conscious level our own conditions, right? Like, what is it that we're willing to deal with, and how, whatever we're not, how can we go about handling ourselves in a peaceful manner? Because ultimately, like, I think on an innate level that so many people, like so many of us, ultimately want the same thing on a baseline level. Like, everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to know that they have their own authority to govern their lives. You know, um, nobody likes being made to anything, right? And that's just like another reminder I want to give everybody right now is nobody can make you believe anything. And ultimately, like, whatever resonates for you, whatever works for you, whatever helps you at the end of each day, and then thinking of that on the level of what, like the concept, do unto others as you would have do unto you. Take it to a respect level and like treat others the way they want to be treated, right? When we start actually like flipping that, we begin to recognize, straight up, because like everything ultimately comes back to us. That is a universal law. I don't care what anybody says. So those of you out there right now trying to control things like on a level that goes against the freedom of individual choice, you really need to step up, wake up, realize what's your choice. Do you want to be forced or made to do anything that you're not for? really fucking think about that, because it's so important right now. Like, I don't care what your race is, like your nationality, your culture, your beliefs, your religion, your spirituality. Um, I don't care, because I'm always going to give you respect until you give me a reason not to. But I really hope there's no need for that. Like, I don't see why. We don't have to like each other. I mean, I get that. We're not always going to resonate, but it's a matter of learning how to maneuver things accordingly, that it's okay for everyone. Like, the highest good of all involved. That's what I serve. And, I've been on this journey, like, I've been giving and giving and giving so much of myself for so long, and I'm starting to draw boundaries, and it's really interesting to watch, like, because I see the great reflection, and I see, you know, the essence of time, in a sense, and how time is so relevant too, because some of that reflection can take what feels like or seems like years to catch back up to us. And then, like, when we're actually in our shadow work and we're applying, like, this knowledge, and we're able to, like, detach ourselves emotionally from a situation and kind of look inside and see, like, what's the lesson that I'm being that's that I'm trying to learn here. Like, why nothing should really be difficult. There should be no, like, big battle of anything, right? When we actually can recognize that great reflection. Um and so I guess, like, the key message right here right now, people, is, I mean, come on, who wants to see an actual war? We've fucking done this how many times, in so many different ways. Like, it's how do we change things? And ultimately, right? Like, it's how ultimately do we change anything? From the inside out. And so if we're here in this collective projection of reality right now, like, on an individual level, we have such fucking ultimate power because we're co-creating. So what can we do as individuals to prevent such, like, catastrophe from happening? And if we can't, and it does come out, like, and, World War III, I hope we can subdue those waves. I'm in a place, though, I accept, like, whatever happens, and I'm just gonna apply what I know and hope for the best and share everything I can, hoping that, collectively we're sitting in the new earth and the promised land, and that is a projection of all of our co-creation into reality. The reality, like, all of us, what we want to see collectively. We do have power, and, like, the way these external things affect our energy as individuals, it's all just to, like, pull down on a vibrational level. Why? Like, I'm sorry, but, once we recognize things from a bigger perspective, and we escape the karmic loop because we've done our shadow work, and we design our boundaries for ourselves, and then we respectfully, those that we come into contact with, we respect their boundaries, respect ours. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. It's so fucking simple. And I want to say this right now, actually, because I love it. And a friend of mine, this was a long time back, but it was the way he said it. And so I don't know if I'm saying exactly right, but it's the way I say it now. It's like, what's the difference between a discussion and an argument? And it's like, well, it's usually the level of mutual attraction and the level of sexual involvement. I don't know why, I just thought it was funny. That was, like, the perfect point for it. But so I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna like read through my notes though from the Canadian Prepper. And I guess the main point right now is the main point of this video. Like, I want to give everybody back their power. I want you to take your power as an individual if you're crossing this video and just like remember, okay? We are co-creating. So when we don't allow things to affect us on an emotional level, when we realize, like, we quit taking things so personally and realize that that is how control, so to speak, happens with people. You know, it's like impacting on the emotional level. But what's actually really cool, and I realized this recently, was scientifically, like, different emotions. Okay, so for example, like excitement and anxiety are, like, on a physiological level, we feel the same way. So what is it that's like making anything different? It's how we're choosing to define it. Okay, to define it. I kind of want to read this piece now because it's perfect, but I'm going to come back to that actually. So, Canadian Prepper. The name of the video, and I'm going to try and link it beneath, but if I forget, this specific video was, he called it, "This is the most dangerous time." And then I was kind of like taking notes from mind as he was going, things he was inspiring, and then combined with like a couple points that he actually says in the video. But what I was getting, you know, it's like behind the scenes, not everything is as it seems. And he's talking, you know, like how it's almost like things are in the opposite. We're going to hear the opposite of what's actually happening. But I mean, this has been a tactic for so fucking long, like the art of war, to divide and conquer. You know, and you look at everything that's happened, like with the corona, and due to do like face masks and, you know, lockdowns and all that stuff, like divide and conquer. But we can't forget that we are all connected, whether we like it or not. They can paint us an illusion, right? But we need to remember. I just saw 1, 2, 3, 4. And the recording is fucking awesome. It's like DNA activation when you're getting like these sequences of numbers, and it's, yeah, I'm just like so excited, you guys. I feel like really happy again, and it's like, you know, apologies for the videos and stuff. Like, I've been going through waves of depression for a long time, and I have to remind myself too, as like the kind of empath that I am, you know, when it comes to the labeling factor and stuff. It's just, I'm still training myself to recognize like what's external from myself, you know, because shadow work, I think, is something that's never really finished, you know, because there's always something more to learn. And if there isn't anything more to learn, then we wouldn't be here on this planet, in this school of life, you know? So that's something to keep in mind. Like, we're all each other's messengers in so many ways. We're all each other's teachers, but ultimately that greatest teacher is the one that we find within as we apply what we learn and come to know throughout our journey. Then, you know, we're able to help each other in a whole different aspect. So I like it, like the theater of life. Opposition. I guess I'm rhyme going. It's time we meet our devotion. Time is of the essence, virtually useless. You know, like, strategize. How do we meet our own demise? We thrive by going off of what we know. Let's take a minute and explore that. But first, I love reading my notes sometimes because it's like, and I'll be having like this whole dialogue in my head. I gotta get like better at just hitting the record and sharing this with you guys, because I'll just be so charged in the moment that I'm like, okay, something will come into play and I won't necessarily like jump on it. But and yeah, you know, but first I need to like, I want to remind us all, our time is now. It's always now. Now. You know, it's like right here, right now is the most important time, and it's taking all the details of what's in our here and now and working with them. We're never deprived. We're only challenged. And the bigger the challenge, like the more difficult things are for ourselves as individuals, that just means that we're leveling up. It's like going through school, like grade school, but this is the school of life. So as the challenges get bigger, it's because we have that much more capacity, that much more power in our individual selves. And so, like I invite you to just kind of try and apply that when something you find yourself in a moment that's like, fuck, this sucks so bad, excuse my French. But yeah, like now it's like wherever you are in the world, okay, whatever time it is, if you're finding this video, this is like our now, mine and your now, regardless of when I recorded it. It's a moment that we're sharing. And however this ripples out and finds you, it's like perfect. Just accepting it for what it is in the moment and allowing it to be, and embracing like whatever you take from it, whatever resonates for you, and doing what you need to do to play your part in the reality, all of what we see, and that's our creations, like the great Imaginarium. I like it. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna actually take this and okay, I'm just gonna read you all the notes because it's fun. But fuel your passion's fire. We're kind of like a bird on a wire. Now it's time we poetically aspire to focus. Reality, the real of all we see collectively. It's all about you and me. We are the very powers that be, and it's time we elevate all to elevate all we see. And then I was like thinking of Neo, free my mind, free my mind. It's like nobody ever makes the first job, free my mind, free my mind. And then, oh, there is no spoon. Like, it's like, shall we in bloom a whole new room, lacking all servitude, and remember the law of equivalent exchange, alongside what it means to be a true team. Ooh, that's funny. So, okay, I've been like playing with words for a while and noticing these different things. So it's like, I don't know who inspired this, but somebody was talking about menstruate. Okay, that's like a woman's period, right? But it's like, break it down, men straight. And I'm like, come on, ladies, have we really come to scare men straight? Or maybe it's time we find another mandate. I mean, for heaven's sake, don't you think it's time we all just get along? Yeah. I mean, who are we to say what's really wrong? And that's like the great defining, right? So now, I want to, take all this that I was just talking about, but like, so ladies that I met, oh, it was Caroline and I forget. I'm sorry. I want to say Mia, but I don't know if it was Mia. No Amy. No Amy and Caroline. Or Carolyn, Catherine. Yeah, maybe. Okay, anyways, but I really hope you find this video. They gave me a few words for the poetry in motion stuff that I do sometimes on the fly as I'm roaming around, and they had some really cool words. And oh shit, I think I forgot the one word, but that's okay. I'm gonna read what I got, and then maybe I'll just like ninja it in at the end. But the words they gave me were blue, feather, toque, and bubble. And so this what came. And it's like, keep in mind, poetry in motion, regardless if you stick around, when I do it, I flow. Like, I take your words and I try and get every word into the flow. And it ultimately becomes a channel, because like I just pour. I don't really read it back or like look it over, change anything. not usually, unless I know, like, you know, but it's all ninja quick. It's a freestyle. Hence my idea behind the Once Upon a Bee style freestyle, right? But so their words were blue, feather, toque, and bubble. So shall we blow blue bubbles while we feather sparkles of the Imaginarium? The Imaginarium, she asks with a question in her voice. No mark of any word, darling, for in life we must rejoice. I might turn on the British accent sometimes. My apologies if it annoys you. Not my intentions. But therein, my fellow ladies, we find the choice. Oh yes, such divine details they do not explain. Ever wonder why so many toil and plunder, when this life we live should be met with sheer wonder? What of the brink of this war they have waged? For within we all have access to the sage of reason with answers to every great divide. One thing I do know is that all must face the tests of time. And then no Amy, no Carolyn, no Amy, Carolyn, I'll explain later. For the bridge we now need more than ever is the gap between us and the truth of divine. For in the great defining of this race we call human, those who sit fuming in attempt to control have yet to scroll the rhythm of soul, for the very essence that pounds stems from the heart's beat. Now, take your seat and enjoy the ride, for life as we know it has no more need to lie, and those ancient cries of days gone by will no longer need to hide face. But just in case, I'll leave you with this. All that we think we may have missed was just Mother as she blew us a kiss and said, forgive your brothers and sisters alike, for the only way to get things right is not to hold on to everything tight, but rather to let go. So right now, right here, with all your might, let's release it. Give up the fight. Fight the war from within so that we can eliminate this thing called sin. Don't ever let them make you think you're just a number. For that, you know, that's old school plunder. Now it's time to toil, spiral ever higher. Cool. I think that's my first, like, on the fly, just via the voice. It comes, it grows. I love it. From my head to my toes. So yeah. And yeah, no Amy, no Carolyn. Yeah. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for sharing your beautiful essence and energy with me and the world. And I wish you all the best. Maybe I'll see you again sometime. If you're getting this or whatever and you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling my vibes. I find, I don't know, like, I get hard on myself sometimes when I look at some of the details and it's like, what? Why? You know? But it's the human journey. Apparently, like, if we were to look at planets and life, different existences and cycles, like, this is, and I got this, like, because I'd always kind of thought of this before, and it's really cool because a friend of mine, this was years ago, we were talking, and he's like, have you ever heard of Dolores Cannon? It's like, B, everything you're talking about, Cannon talks about, like, in her books and her stuff. And basically, like, she's not a woman who's, like, channeled. It's more so all the information that she's ever gathered was gathered through hypnosis. So she's, like, playing in the subconscious, you know, because people, as they would come back into this consciousness, they'd have no recollection of the things that they had shared with her. So interesting stuff, you know. And I actually started a playlist. It's public on this channel, so if you want to check out some of her stuff that way, you can. I've watched almost all the videos on there. I'm trying to only put, like, add playlists to videos or add videos to playlists that I've watched, but some of them, like with the binaural like frequencies and stuff like that, I haven't actually listened to them all. I kind of did that like faith in the title, and that's that's that. Um, hoping that that's the energetic frequencies that are being fed into these frequencies, but ultimately you have to go with your discernment. That's like one of our biggest missions to master as individuals is our discernment. Not to let like external blah 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 affect us, and we all do, right? Like, and it's funny because I know like throughout my life I've had many situations, where people will talk about me behind my back or say things that, they won't say necessarily to my face, and it's like fuck, and I've been really trying to not do that for years, and I'm proud of myself, like I'm doing good, but it's like ultimately what's to say to anyone, like we should be able to say everything to each other because we're here to help each other. And I know like with some of my friends recently, like it's been challenging because I'm really trying to help like grow, and I've said this, like I'd rather you like maybe hurt my feelings by telling me something that you're seeing as truth, that maybe I'm like not aware of, because I know when it comes to subconscious, conscious, and like triggers and healing and stuff like that, like we don't always totally recognize everything, that's kind of been built up in us over the years as like protective mechanisms, or built up through different traumas and stuff like that. And like we have to remember we're healing collectively. So anybody, like, don't be afraid to hurt my feelings. Like I really want the constructive feedback. And and then that's what it boils down to, is like the intention behind it. People can take anything ultimately as they will or as they want, but and we're gonna know, and you're gonna feel it on a discernment level, like, is somebody saying this to hurt me right now? Especially when you've done your shadow work, like, and you start to recognize that. It's like you can tell when people are just throwing stuff at you to try and pull your energy down. But when we know thyself, like when we truly know ourselves, nothing can hurt us, things might hurt because it's just sad, but then we get to come and play and dance inside like the great mirror, right? And hopefully help each other all start to see the bigger picture oh so clear. I like it. I found this book. I'm visiting an old friend of mine right now, and I found this book they had, and I just wanted to I'm gonna do a flip a book if anybody saw that one. So it's cool. It's something that I've used many times throughout my life, but it's just basically you open the book to wherever and you read the first sentence, paragraph, page of what you see, and therein could be an answer to a question or just insight that you need for the moment. And the science of self-realization, I don't know, I'm digging the title. And because there is a science behind it. I like this. So the Society for Krishna Consciousness, Christ Consciousness, awakening, stepping to the other side of the veil, realizing, we are all in this together. Archetypes, which we resonate with, and like, I've met so many different people who are like, I am Jesus Christ. And, in awakening inside Christ consciousness, it's recognizing like, fucking right, it's like we all are, if you're in that resonation, that archetypal energy, the lessons that come through the connected collective consciousness. And that's like, the some of the underlying essence to Christ consciousness. And like even like this whole idea of the second coming, Well, fucking right. It's like a big awakening. And that's exactly what we're in, you know, it's pretty rad. So, science of self-realization. I'm going to flip this on behalf of us, the united souls in a united state of being, waking up and projecting, co-creating what we really want to see. What word, spirit, do you have for us right now? Oh, it's in a different language. I almost don't want to do it. Okay, I'm gonna try. And my apologies if I'm way off here. So, vidyam, kavidyam kayas, tad vado bayam saha, avidyaya, mirtrim traiva, vidya amritam asnut. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. It's pretty fucking pretty perfect to like everything right now, right here, and this message I'm sharing with you guys. So that's a mantra, and I think I'm just gonna read that one more time, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. So, only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Eternal and infinite. I love it. And I love you. And I am love. We're good. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. And don't forget, we got the power. We are the governing of ourselves. So let's do it. Let's project all we want to see in truth. So what you want for yourself, you ultimately want for everybody else. And when we start to harness that power, you know, we got this. It's just time. So I like the way DubFX puts it. He's like, this one's going out to the people in control, yeah? You've all been in control for too long. It's like free energy. You're outnumbered, man. But that's us though, you know? Like we gotta take our power back. It's only when we give our power away that the visions that we want to see can't so much come to be, right? So it's taking the power back. And when we are truly like selfish in the selfless kind of way, right? In recognizing that and recognizing the ripple effect, that everything we do and how that impacts each other, and being conscious of that and truly caring, you know, like if we truly care about ourselves, then we truly care about everybody around us. That's a fact. So it's time to make a new kind of impact. I'll look with the vibes. Love you guys. See you soon.